Hi, and welcome back to Arno TV. I'm Arno, your lovable host, with another video. Today's video is going to be a topical one. Yesterday, it was John Lennon's, would have been John Lennon's 80th birthday. So consequently, obviously there was a lot of stuff on the internet, and when I was flicking around TV last night, there was a lot of stuff on TV about the Beatles and John Lennon. And I watched quite a number of films yesterday about the Beatles and Lennon, and brings back all sorts of memories from being a kid and being a teenager. I mean, first of all, my parents, particularly my father, was a huge Beatles fan. So early memories as a kid, I remember Beatles being on in the background. So I was exposed to that from a young age. So it's so many songs that Lennon and the Beatles, composed and wrote that are just amazing. I mean, you sit there and you think, oh God, what a song. And then another one comes on and you think, oh man, that song. You listen to like Strawberry Fields, wow, Fool on the Hill, Eleanor Rigby. I mean, the list goes on, doesn't it? I mean, there's so many great compositions that both Lennon solo and Lennon and McCartney put out. I managed to catch a Hard Day's Night last night, which was something that I've not seen in ages. I particularly love Wilford Bramble's depiction of Paul's granddad in that film. For anybody who doesn't know who Wilford Bramble is, he's the guy that played Albert in Steptoe and Son, which was a huge iconic comedy from the 60s. I mean, nobody had ever done anything like that. There was such a groundbreaking band. He was such a groundbreaking character. Nobody from the working classes was ever represented in that way, or given exposure to people before the Beatles, really. I mean, the only people you would have seen on TV in the 60s would have been people in suits who spoke with a plum in their voice, So they just changed the world, literally, with their music, their culture, the attitude that they brought, and it was really interesting watching a lot of that stuff yesterday, particularly the way that Lennon spoke out against things that he didn't agree with, that governments and people in positions of power were doing. He was probably a trailblazer in all of that, and I wonder what he would have thought of the world today, because he's famously quoted as saying that the world was run by maniacs. Well, look at the people that are running the world now. I mean, was he far wrong from that? I'm sure he's looking down from wherever he is going, I told you. But John Lennon, 80th birthday, unbelievable. When I think about what particularly the Beatles did for music, I mean, you can pretty much trace most genres of music back to the Beatles and John Lennon. It's kind of an immeasurable influence that they've had on not just music but modern culture. And I think he'd probably look down now and be a bit disappointed that, as I was saying in a previous video, that maybe we don't question things enough anymore. And he would have questioned things, I think, if he was still alive. And obviously it covered, his solo career and the things that I was watching last night. So, all the way up to his death, which is another insane thing that's happened, in the world, isn't it, really? Why would you want to assassinate someone like that, and why is it all these nutters like that all have three names, or are all known by three names? Is that a thing? I'm sure that's a conspiracy theory that floats about online, but you know, another one, Mark David Chapman, you know, constantly pleading, isn't he, all the time to get back out and that he's reformed, but I don't think he should be let out if you do something like that, you know, personally. Nut job, yeah. But yeah, I mean, you know, it proper brought back a lot of good sort of memories and stuff from, like I said, me being a young child and a teenager when I rediscovered the Beatles as I got into music as a teenager. Obviously I was a big metalhead, but you know, once you sort of get your, you know, you discover your own music, you do start looking around at what influenced the music that you were into, and you know, obviously being into things like Black Sabbath, you know, Ozzy Osbourne and Naomi always quoted the Beatles as a reference, and it prompted me to rediscover some of that stuff as a teenager, and you know, sit there and think, oh wow, you know, my parents, they had really good musical taste. Wow, thanks for turning me on to that. And hopefully there's younger people out there that, you know, a couple of generations below me that are into the Beatles, because if you're not, you should check them out. I'd highly recommend them. Just great songwriting, great, just really innovative stuff. And when you think about you know, some of the techniques that they were using in recording on the gear that they had back then. I mean, you know, some of that stuff was recorded on 4 tracks in mono, you know, crazy. You know, listen to a song like Tomorrow Never Knows and think about that was possibly recorded on maybe 4 or 8 tracks. Amazing, you know, that they were able to push musical boundaries at that time with that level of technology. I mean, you know, who knows what he would have gone on to create, you know, if he wasn't sort of taken in 1980. I mean, I remember that as a child when that happened. That's one of my earliest memories, actually, because like I said, my father was a huge Beatles fan, and I remember him coming home and talking about that, and then the news been on, and it'd been all over the news that he'd been assassinated, and you know. But thanks for the music. Thank you very much for the music, John. You know, you've influenced so many people. You've just influenced so many different genres of music. You've written so many great songs. So anybody out there that's maybe quite young and, you know, never heard of the Beatles, you know, go check some of their albums out, because they're absolutely groundbreaking. For now, just a quick one. Happy birthday, John Lennon, for yesterday. We'll be back soon. You've been watching Arno TV. I'm Arno. Take care out there, stay safe, and keep it rock and roll.